Vallow and her new husband Chad Daybell fleeing Idaho, heading to Hawaii 1 day after authorities performed a welfare check looking for the kids.
Where are your kids? No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
Vallow married Daybell just days after his wife died, and 3 months after her husband was shot to death by her brother. Police are now investigating the death of Daybell's former wife.
Shortly after the welfare check, police obtained a search warrant where Chad Daybell and Lori were staying. When police arrived, they found that Chad and Lori were gone.
According to East Idaho News, police obtained a search warrant for Vallow's home and the storage unit, finding children's bikes, photo albums, blankets, and clothing in the unit.
Can you tell me where your kids are?
It's been 1 week since Vallow ignored a deadline to physically produce her children, failing to bring 17-year-old Tylee Ryan and 7-year-old JJ to authorities. The kids have been missing since September.
November 29th, Alex Cox gets married and takes his wife's last name. Was this to conceal his identity? Melanie would also get remarried.
How close are you to Lori?
My mom passed away when I was 9, and Lori is one of the closest things to her and how much love my mom showed me. So she's a friend, almost like a mother to me, and an aunt, and somebody that I love.
Do you think that Tylee and JJ were in danger? Do you think that Lori thought they were zombies? Do you think that she thought that their spirits had left them?
I didn't think they were in danger, and didn't have those fears and doubts until this welfare check, and then Chad and Lori left. I didn't have contact with them, and I'm absolutely worried. I knew the threats that Lori had been getting, and I don't know what's going on, and so as you know, being in a new marriage, I'm kind of dumping on him. I'm worried about this, I'm worried about this. Meanwhile, we have all these false accusations and questions about this supposed shooting that Brandon Boudreaux is claiming that happened.
Shortly after, December 1st, Chad and Lori flew to Hawaii and began living there. On December 6th, the friend of JJ came forward to police, claiming that Chad and Lori asked them to lie.
It's about Thanksgiving and everything changed. I thought he was safe, and I get a call from Chad.
So that call comes completely out of the blue.
Out of the blue. Wasn't expecting that at all.
He says don't pick up the phone when the police call. Mm-hmm. He's scared, he's nervous. Mm-hmm. He says they're gonna call you because they're at Lori's house.
And she's going to tell them that JJ's with you.
She's gonna tell the cops that JJ's with you in Arizona.
No, I was in Utah at the time.
You were in Utah?
Yeah.
First of all, that's a bombshell that's just thrown.
I can't even describe how I felt. They put me in a very awkward situation.
December 12th, Alex is found dead, only a short time after being married.
Here, police.
Newly released body camera footage from the day Alex Cox died, shedding new light on what happened. That's the voice presumed to be of Alex's wife, Zulema, on December 12th, 2019. The rest of what she says is then drowned out. Gilbert police blurred out this video, and while you can't see much, we are able to hear some of what was said among those who were on scene that day.
I don't know. That's what Mike is probably one of our best paramedics.
She was blue when I walked in.
What's that?
She was blue when I walked in until I started doing compressions. She was blue on the face.
In the clips, you later hear Zulema's son tell officers he found Alex lying on the bathroom floor. This is a conversation between Zulema and one of the officers on scene, after paramedics took Alex to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead.
I'm just wondering, is it possible for you guys to wait outside? My kids are already going through enough trauma as it is without you guys standing right next to them.
So we're definitely not trying to make things worse, ma'am. We're not trying to have anybody feel bad or be anxious, but someone died in your house today, and we're not going to leave your house until we finish that investigation. So
let me ask you this. So why are you saying that someone died in the house when he wasn't even pronounced dead until he was in the hospital?
Well, the incident started here. I get that he was pronounced deceased at the hospital, but all of that started here. It didn't start in the hospital, it started in this house.
In one of the clips released, you can also hear first responders doing chest compressions on Alex.
I was hoping that they would let me say goodbye to him because they took me away from, the detective took me out of the room.
More insight into an already complicated and convoluted case.
2020 rolled around and police and FBI searched the home of Chad Daybell. That took several devices and documents to experts. January 7th, JJ's grandparents issue a statement to Lori, "Bring home Tylee and JJ." Shortly thereafter, police located Chad and Lori and served them with a court order to physically produce the children, something to prove that the children were alive. They would later obtain another warrant that would seize Lori and Chad's rental car, obtaining several of the children's items like an iPad, government documents, and other belongings of Tylee and JJ. Tylee's bank card was frequently used. In late February, Lori was arrested and her bond was set at $5 million and lowered to $1 million.
The 46-year-old seen here being brought in on a warrant issued by Madison County, Idaho. Her husband, Chad Daybell, photographed nearby as his wife enters police custody. According to the police press release, Vallow was also arrested on investigation of resisting or obstructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court.
On June 9th, 2020, Chad Daybell's property was searched, and the remains of Tylee and JJ were found.
This is the probable cause document that allowed detectives to secure the search warrant for a closer look at Chad Daybell's property. In paragraph 20, we find text messages between Chad and his first wife, Tammy. This is the day after the last known sighting of Tylee Ryan at Yellowstone National Park. In it, Chad talks about burning, quote, limb debris by the fire pit. When he spotted a big raccoon along the fence, he hurried and got his gun and shot it, saying, quote, "He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times." Detectives saying they found that suspicious. Then Alex Cox, Lori Vallow's brother, enters the picture. Detectives pinging his cell phone and discovering that he was in the same area described by Chad Daybell as the location of the pet cemetery. He was there for 2.5 hours. The FBI further analyzed Cox's movements, finding he was also on the property on the morning of September 23rd, the day after JJ was last seen. This time he was there for 17 minutes. The cell phone pinged near the pond on the northern edge of the property. What's more, detectives discovered that on both dates, Alex was at Lori's home before heading to Chad's property. And the night before JJ went missing, Lori had company from out of town, her friends Melanie Gibb and David Warwick. Both say that Lori claimed JJ had become a zombie and that Alex carried him to his room, never to be seen again.
They had a fire.
These movements, along with observations from neighbors about large bonfires at the Daybell home, allowed detectives and the FBI to triangulate the exact areas of interest on the property. Officers serving the search warrant last week finding disturbed ground, a layer of sod on top of rocks. That's where they discovered JJ's body wrapped in plastic near the pond. At a second site near the fire pit and pet cemetery, they found human bones and charred tissue, later identified to be Tylee Ryan. The affidavit also says that Chad Daybell was watching the search very closely and eventually tried to leave in his SUV. That's when officers pursued and arrested him.
Mr. Daybell's intention was, through his counsel, to turn himself into the court if that was something that was going to happen.
His attorney later alleged that Daybell was driving to turn himself in.
Lori and Chad still believe the world is coming to an end. Who killed Tylee and JJ Vallow? We will continue to follow this story as it plays out.